Well, the Kingdom of the Zulu has been welcoming. It's been, well, kind, and we've enjoyed every second we've spent here so far in Umlazi, in as far as enjoying the 2023 Hollywood Bets COSAFA Cup. And those in the region have done their bit at not only welcoming all of us here, but also coming through to the Kings Walletini Stadium to ensure that they get behind the football, get behind the different nations that are in action. And as we look forward to today's action, it promises once again to be another day that will entertain. And so far, the weather is perfect. Perfect for winter in Durban. And this is what's famous, or what Durban is famous for in the wintertime, is a sunny day. Many are out there in shorts and t-shirts, and many have already started to come out here to ensure they get the best seating possible ahead of the matches that will be on show. Young, old, male, female, they've certainly responded. The community of Umlazi and responded well to the football that has been on show, even in the nighttime matches. As we look at the matches that have been played thus far, 6 matches, 11 goals scored, and of course the biggest victory goes to the Comoros, who did beat Seychelles with a 3-0 scoreline. And so far, no player has scored more than one. So where you do see two, that means 2 players from one country scored, that being Ibrahim Yusuf, who scored that stunner for Comoros a few days ago, along with Jambe. That's 1 goal apiece, including Sera for Lesotho and Mohachani scoring 1 goal apiece. Yet to have one player score more than just 1 goal so far in this year's COSAFA Cup. Well, in as far as entertainment, it's just a little bit early. We've had some legendary songs. The day started with the youngsters coming out to entertain with the dancing and the music that takes us back some years in as far as South African culture goes. Sitting alongside me is William Jongwe, and William is a South Africa that comes into their upcoming game having had to come from behind against Namibia. Let's talk about how Namibia got into the attack here and scored, but more so the South African defense, how they conceded.
We know that that's exactly where the problem was, but you got to give it to Namibia. In the transition play, starting from the goalkeeper, was brilliant. And there weren't too many chances created, but this one counted.
Beautifully done then, with the South African defense unable to respond to the quick transition then from a Namibian point of view, and that may be something Botswana would have taken note of, that they want to take advantage of.
And of course, coming back late after having pushed forward was Keegan Allen. I think because of the transition and speed of attack, South Africa weren't able to keep up.
Well, there were a couple of changes made during the halftime break, and one of those saw, well, the goal coming from a South African point of view not long after the halftime break. It's a man that wears the number 10 jersey, Human, who scored a smashing goal after a lovely little hustling effort from Mabasa, who also came in off the bench.
Yeah, that's the thing about Mabaso. He's a bully of a striker. He forces errors, pushes his weight in that area, but what an execution by Human.
Just didn't give up on this, did he, Mabasa? Even after he stumbled over, he did his best to play the ball back into the danger area in the hope that something would be positive for South Africa, and it ended positively. Now, Botswana and how they scored. It looks easy, doesn't it?
Well, defensively again, I think they're exposed. The goalkeeper Ngamis of Eswatini was exposed big time. But you got to give it to Disele, who anticipated and spaced himself nicely behind the crowd in front of him. What a finish!
Nicely done. And the finish composed. Then the flick one was crucial on the near post then, and Botswana only needed that one goal to not only grab the lead but grab the win that sees them sit on top of the group. Now, there's a lot of football to be played still, but the pressure will be beginning to tell at this point, William Shaw.
There's not too many games to play for. Only 2 more as we look at the teams below Botswana. They'll be hoping at least a point maybe will make a difference for them to stay on top.
So, today, what we're looking forward to, South Africa up against Botswana, should be, well, a great way to start the day. And in ending it all off, Namibia will be hoping to have the Koza against Eswatini, who will be hoping for the upset in that encounter. Again, that's one not to miss, kicking off at 6 in the evening. Well, as the fans get ready for the football and we get closer and closer, William Shaw, I did have the pleasure of speaking not only to Morena Ramoribodi, the South African coach, he also spoke to Mokgomotsi Nkote, the coach of Botswana.
Coach, the first game of a tournament like this is always a tester. And what did you find out in your first game of the competition?
Thank you very much. Lot of things were tested in our first match. Our offensive strategies were tested, defensive strategies were tested, and after a thorough analysis in terms of how we performed, it gives you a picture of saying what you need to correct and who do you need to bring and who do you need to rest and all of that. So I think from the previous match, we made an analysis and we realized that because we don't have time, whatever change we try to bring, it has to be a change which will take us into the next match and a change which will prepare us for the third match, fourth match and fifth match, as we are trying our level best to play up until the last day. So obviously we are trying to make changes and also try to improve certain elements of our game in making sure that we can reach the final stage.
Coach, thanks so much and all the best this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Coach, 3 points in the bag and on top of the group, you must be happy, but still I'm sure there are things that you like to improve in the team.
Of course, yeah. It's a family affair. Eh? We must remember Morana is our champion there, and I will always respect that. And yes, we have 3 points, but it's still tight because losing this game, it means it's 4-3. So we are going into this game, trying to fight, control everything so as to to win the game. And I remember the South Africans that are always tough to us, but tactically I think we are better now, and Botswana football is improving because of the coaches who come to our country to help our boys, to help them tactically and mentally, to show the boys that.
Coach, thank you so much and all the best.
Thank you, Willie.
Round 2 of the group stages of the 2023 HOLLYWOODBETS COSAFA Cup gets underway with South Africa taking on Botswana in Group A action at the King Zwelithini Stadium in Umlazi. And this the most played fixture in COSAFA Cup history, 11 clashes they've had, and it's worth noting, since 2015, these two nations have played each other every year. For South Africa, they'll be hoping, of course, to continue in their dominance against Botswana. Botswana will remember the one win you could put with maybe an asterisk next to it since it came by a penalty shootout against South Africa. Let's get into the national anthems. it's worth noting that both these nations will be in need of a win to keep their hopes of a semi-final berth alive. Yes, Botswana have already come up with the 3 points earlier on in the opening match, and Bafana Bafana of South Africa, of course, had the draw against Namibia, but still, for Botswana, a win will make life a little bit easier going into the last of the group matches, while South Africa absolutely need the win now. Pressure is beginning to tell shortly after those opening matches, that for sure, as both these sides go through the rematch formalities here, and we get closer to kickoff. Now, let's have a look at the South African starting 11. 4 changes. Mabasa, as well as Reyners, coming into the attacking areas, having come in to score off the bench. Human also comes into the starting lineup, and Makume will come into a defensive setup, replacing the injured Keegan Allen.
Now, the defensive line of Botswana will be key in this formation for Bafana Bafana. If you look at Reyners' speed, Mogaile is speed on other channels. Now, would they be able to use the space behind the defensive line? That's the question that remains for me. But there's enough creativity coming from in the middle. Kele in particular, one man of the match.
Well, for Botswana, to make the one change, and it does see Lekopelo coming into a defensive position in the heart of their defense. Ditelo, of course, was the man who scored and was so impressive in the opening match. Hakalifang and company out in the attacking areas would seriously love to put the South African defense under pressure in an effort to walk away with an all-important win.
Modingwane in the center of the midfield, which has given Ditsele the opportunity to push a little bit forward alongside Mabaya in that middle. But of course, it'll all depend on Khamanyane, whose speed and skill will create problems for Bafana Bafana coming from the right-hand side. It's a good-looking Botswana side.
Well, smiles on the bench for the time being here. And, we heard the Botswana coach, of course, speaking to you a little bit earlier, and he said it's a family affair, did Mohammed on board. And many of us would have been wondering what he meant by that. Do you want to break it down for us, William Shongo?
Now, of course, when you look on the other side of Bafana Bafana, who's the head coach is Ramorebodi, who is also coaching in Botswana. Yep. They're working together in many different departments in promoting football down there. So, it's an interesting one.
It's a family affair. As the man in your picture said in the earlier interview, just thought we'd clear that up for you, in case you were wondering. But they put their strongest foot forward, Botswana. And from a South African point of view, the hope is that they've put their strongest foot forward. Which of these two sides will walk away with the 3 points? Well, we'll have to all sit through the 90 minutes together to find out. Later on in the day, keep in mind, Namibia also will be taking on Eswatini for the 6 o'clock kickoff. That match will be crucial, depending on what happens here as well, and just seeing how the group does plan out moving into the 3rd and last round of fixtures in a few days' time. So, it's Botswana to get the action underway, attacking the left of your picture in their traditional sky blue with a touch of white, while South Africa in the very familiar golden green, then attacking the right of your picture. This is by far the sunniest day we've had since the start of the COSAFA Cup midweek, which started off in extreme cold weathers here in Durban. That weather's improved over the days, and this by far the sunniest of the day so far. So it's Botswana now looking to get the fight start, getting the throw-in out to that far side.
I think it is worth mentioning, Caesar, that Makume makes it into the starting lineup for Bafana Bafana. This is in the absence of Keegan Allen, who obviously got injured in that first game and didn't make it today. And they thought they would sideline him temporarily so that he can recover fully should they need him going forward.
Well, nice start here for Botswana. Throwing inside the final third. They've got the corner as well. One aspect we haven't touched on yet is the physicality we may see coming in from the men that have started off in the front foot here. Got the inside corner on that near post. It's well defended by the South Africans. Now, they're hitting on the counter attack here. Ken couldn't wear from Botswana. continuing their dominance in these early stages, and the shot will relieve the pressure off of South Africa. But let's speak of the possibilities in what may be coming up here. Some may be expecting a bit of physicality from Botswana in the early stages, just to try and unsettle the host nation, whom we know like to put it down and play.
Without a doubt, I think that will be an element that the coach of Botswana does have. I've seen games in the past, and if you watch the game against Namibia, you could see they were very physical against Bafana Bafana. And these are young stars, some of them obviously here for the first time. And I think that would be a part of the tech for Botswana. And it's important for Bafana Bafana to put their foot on the ball, to get this crowd behind them.
Well, as soon as they do, the crowd does respond quite positively then, off of the nice touches that do expect from Human in the middle of the park. Now, I've had a positive start here for Botswana. Fjord is joining us here in the opening exchanges, where they've looked to get onto that front foot. Here in the middle of the park for South Africa to go from the back. Get to see South Africa really go into the opposition half of the field and express themselves on the front foot just yet. Dangerously, front back in a nice area, then Ditele involved in Botswana winning it back. Amongst those on the edge of the box, hoping to find a way in behind the defense, which stands solid.
High pressure is one thing that Botswana can do it. If you give Bafana Bafana that enough time on the ball to be able to set it up from the defensive half going through the middle, it'll be harder once they gain the momentum. So you want to stop them as soon as you can, right from the onset.
That movement off the ball down the line then. No lack from the South Africans as they begin to use the width of the field here in trying to build the tempo and stretch the opposition defense. Got the challenge from behind, but nothing coming from the referee. Keep in mind, South Africa yet to be beaten outright by Botswana. Did lose penalties to Botswana back in 2006. And in 2019, that's a nice touch in midfield, then to win it back again to get the crowd going.
Threat. They call him Ox. And it's for such time as this that you see why they call him that. A very strong defender. But also, he has this ability about him, an unbelievable engine room. When there's space in the middle, he doesn't just deliver a pass forward, but he runs with the ball and confront the opposition's midfielders, and you know, he creates things. He's got that type of energy about him.
Referee right next to the action, so close enough to be able to make that call. Set piece here in an encouraging area for the South Africans. Big men certainly will be pushing forward. Yet to see a shot in anger from the men in gold and green. Organizing defensively here is Malapela, and then he plays his club football for Orapa United out in Botswana. So far, it's just a three-man wall is lined up.
Question is now, what are the chances that it can go direct? Or it's going to hang into that far post to see the can draw the goalkeeper out of his line.
Yep, looking towards the far post! Oh, it's an opportunity and a good one for the South Africans then, appreciated by those out in the stands, and it's Wame who had climbed up well to compete and get the better of the opposition.
I think it was the best option. The goalkeeper would have had an easy time, but this one swings away from him, nearly throws him out, but obviously knowing that there's a big man on that far post, maybe he could have done better by directing it on target.
Sundowns man enjoying his second match of this tournament.
Big defender.
Yeah, powering forward and on that far post and getting the first chance, real chance for the South Africans. Interesting to see it coming off the dead ball.
remember a goal that Baparamano scored. I'm trying to work it out. It was a COSAFA game in Botswana. Siyabonga Nkosi scored it from a set piece as well, of a similar delivery. No, Siyabonga Nkosi delivered the set piece.
Yep.
Benson Mhlongo scored with the header.
That sounds right about right now. I can picture that happening.
So it can happen. It has happened before.
Pull down the line here. We'll see the South Africans pick it up quickly. Bit of pressure on Bob, but his distribution good enough here to find the teammates on this near side. That was beautifully done by Bob. Space in the middle of the park. The pressure from the men from Botswana.
The amount of work, says Mapena, that goes on at night. As this is after games, of course, from the games played that very day, and those analysis continues into the next day in preparation for the next one now. I'm sure Botswana, looking at Mohale, how effective he was in that first game on the right hand side, and since it's what now? 8 minutes, he hasn't had any sight of space behind where he can run to, which was my concern. Is what kind of defensive line is Botswana going to keep? High or low?
Well, Rangers, the latest fouls here. Good party is Kopelang. Another set piece to go to the South Africans. Had one earlier that led to a good goal scoring opportunity. What will they come up with this time with the set piece happening on the other side of the field?
A little bit further, a little bit further away this time.
Yep.
Surely it's not going to go direct. Once again, Mohamed on the far side looking for that long one across.
It's the outswinger, not to the near post this time, but no worries to Manapelas go quick to snatch it out the air and keep it moving for Botswana. Happy to build from the back here. Confident, nice footwork as well in the middle of the park. That's nicely done. He said it. Well, the shot from range then won't really cause any problems from Bob, but very interesting to see Botswana starting to roll from the back and playing it through the different departments, then to get it into an eventual shooting position. Smooth as they went through the departments then. Very confidently done.
They're a very direct team, but every now and then they do find the chances to be able to meet the label, which for me, it's growth on their part, because it's not about the old-time kind of football whereby they used to flood the long balls up to the front, the big strikers who chase and look at working on the second ball. This is not the case anymore. It's just now and then that they do it.
And Kent, how still more and more supporters are arriving here at the Kings Stadium. Just a few moments ago, you can see those moving behind the goal to the right of your picture.
A term you used in the first game of the crowd on the side growing and swelling. I thought you missed the point. Only today it looks like truly swelling. I think it hasn't been bigger than this since this tournament started. It's definitely swelling.
Well, what I had meant was, from earlier on that day, the numbers had grown, hence the swelling. But I get what you're saying. Today, yeah, no, it started early. If I come out nice and early, of course it helps with South Africa playing the early game. And some familiar faces have made their way down to Mlazi. So no off-season for some, but in mind.
I was wondering when he's going to arrive. He's been hiking since. Finally made it this morning. And still coming.
Long from Botswana this time, very nearly picking up the second ball. Nicely done defensively from a South African point of view as they quickly look to move it upfield. Then the early ball looking for Raiders. Couldn't take it in stride then. Much those that will be looking to take advantage in midfield for Botswana here. That's nicely done and keeping it alive. Gisele is an option here. They won't use him as yet. Challenge. Lovely challenge going to win it back for the South Africans. Human. Hustled off of it. Here is Human again, picking up the pieces for South Africa. And they fashion a chance at goal here. Appeals for a penalty with Nabasa involved. Nothing coming from the officials. Again, pressure being applied here from the South Africans, hoping a decision will eventually go their way. It's not to be. So, a bit of pressure on that Botswana defense. Again, they were determined to try and play it out and nearly get themselves into trouble.
I would have been surprised if the man in the middle was able to call it, because it happened very quickly. Yes, proximity was good. He was close by, but it happened. It must have ricocheted from one body to the other as quick as that.
Also, the near side official would have been an option then to have spotted it. He didn't score for it, so once both the referee and near side official aren't entirely sure, you put your money on it being a very difficult call to make in favor of those wishing to get the penalty. Again, Makhaila kept quiet here on this near side. They are doing so by just not allowing him to be the option for the pass from a South African point of view. There's a cross-field ball then with Makhaila being the intended recipient. The angle wasn't quite complimentary of his movements. Gisele, with a space and some options on that far side. Now we've had the opening close to 15 minutes gone by. Then there was a penalty appeal a little bit earlier. Let's have a look. Ooh.
Yes, it ended up in that hand from behind. And what could maybe stand against the Botswana defender is that it doesn't matter where you were able to see the ball at all.
Yeah.
It's a question of whether your hand was like attached to the body or away, meaning that you make yourself bigger. That is what we must debate to see whether it could have been given. But now, the two positions of the officials comes to mind. Did they have full view to make a clear call?
Well, the defender then, who, keep in mind, came into this match as the one change in the Botswana starting 11, would have survived the scare then in place for Sao Flamingos out in Botswana, only at 6 minutes of the opening match. Now, ball in. He's done well under pressure. He did have Alexo Gisele hoping he'd misjudge that. More pressure on the South African defense here. And able to deal with it. Now, hoping to hit on the counter here. Able to get the movement and passing going right. Interesting ball, well read, superbly read by Bar. That's the flag had gone up for offside, so wouldn't have counted anyway. So, Sean, we're beyond the 15-minute mark. It's very much an even game between these two nations, both looking to have a goal, both looking confident with the ball at their feet and full of ideas.
Listen, very, very balanced. I mean, as the coach often said, like, Bafana has always been on top, but Botswana has improved over the years. And that's why coming to this game, they felt like they have what it takes to be able to hold Bafana, or even maybe pull a surprise win.
The skill on the far side then to keep it alive. And to buy some time and space. Keep it moving, and they do as they probe Makhaila now. Abasa under pressure, just about able to keep it moving. Asking about the Botswana defense here still. Bafana finding those openings. Makhaila, nice skill to get it over the defender in the end. He needed someone attacking the near post. He said, yeah.
Also, maybe cut back a little bit. And other thing that maybe I've picked up, Mabasa, who, yes, is a big striker, can play with his back to goal, but I feel like he doesn't hold that top line striking position as often. He tends to drift, looking for space, of course, to operate.
Well, once you hear those noises, you know what's happening out in the stands. For those of you that are familiar with this particular stadium and the individual called Dlamini, I believe it is.
Yes, Mr. Dlamini himself. Don't look at him looking with that small profile of his.
Yeah,
he's actually a man.
Yeah, he's a fit man, very much in shape. So he gets kitted out and comes out to detain the crowd here. He was busy till late last night. Didn't stop him from arriving early here. As we look back at that challenge from behind, and the reason why South Africa have the set piece. That's a good ball, good vision. Now, numbers getting in the box and disappointing final product.
Lucky Lake, the left full back for Bafana Bafana. He often doesn't disappoint when he gets into those wide areas with his delivery. This time, he's cooked it completely.
He's had an interesting career as we look at Dlamini out in the stands. Then there you go. Yes. Yesterday, last night you built up such a sweat. I doubted you'd be here for the early game today. Doesn't need the water just yet.
Not
soon,
just yet.
Soon they'll be throwing water bottles at him. Looking for the free kick. As the Mahaila on the inside, they did seem to be coming together, but the officials not feeling it was enough for there to be a foul called. They're moving at quite some pace here. Both these nations at times, yeah. But the decision making has to be swift. Takan, I do believe it is, who is called for the foul. May have picked up a little knock on his own, suggesting there may have been a knock to the head of the Amazulu man. It's amazing. Of the 4 changes that have been made here by the South Africans coming into this match, all 4 that start today started at the start of the second half in the last match. So they all 4 played exactly 45 minutes of the last match. Just shows the number of changes in the match against Namibia and how things turned around immediately, leading to that equalizing goal for South Africa.
Which, of course, with those changes, and we saw the impact, so the coach decided, let me go with that. This is the second half looked slightly way better than their first, and as a result, it's given the chance to those to start.
Oh, it could be a chance here, but for an important defensive touch. A terribly important defensive touch. It looked as though something was on for Botswana then, and looking as though he was licking his lips at the opportunity was Khalif Fanglen, and was taken away from him at the very last moment, Sean.
In fact, it's a clearing header that bounced off the Bafana Bafana defender, which almost set Khalifang towards goal, but quick recovery from the defensive unit of Bafana Bafana.
taking their time about things here. Bafana Tetra slowing it down with Botswana having everybody behind the ball here, taking up their shape. They will look to be stubborn to break down Botswana. There's Tetra again. Then you go forward, didn't contest on in the way of strength. Botswana ball. Well, as Nick said, for Botswana in the opening game against Eswatini, not only did they look comfortable, but they really gave much away defensively against Eswatini. They looked a solid side, so some may feel this may be a bit of a better test for their defense, but outside of that set piece for South Africa early on, for those just joining us, there really hasn't been much joy for South Africa going forward in open play. They will hope for the corner here once again, settle for the throw-in, but Botswana will be happy with their defense, the way they protected their goalkeeper up to this point. Malapela hasn't had to make a save.
The sun is into the face of Malapela, and a good opportunity to hand that ball to the box to see if he can deal with the brightness of the sun.
And meanwhile, Mabaya, I believe it is, who is getting some attention then to the upper eye area where he may be bleeding. Now, they're looking for that flick on. Could be a chance! Good block. Well anticipated by the Botswana defense. That shot they rained down to all state goal side of the shooter. Then I do believe it was Mabasa. McKay, in fact.
And that's his error, Lucky. One time I asked him.
Well, goes here for Botswana on this ball here. Numbers dealing forward. Tsele arriving late on the scene, able to keep it moving. Was looking for the 1-2. The ball just didn't come back. Now, chance in the counter here for the South Africans. Numbers pushing forward. Pace, the name of the game here. Opening it up for the shot! Oh, what a save! Malapela with a save of the match so far. That's the best we've seen from South Africa on the front foot.
Brilliant. You know, he's right-footed, and this is why he does very well. Even before Stellenbosch got promoted, this was Reyners at his best. Very quick, cuts it to the inside, pings it into that far post. Wow, wow. You got to understand when they say wow, what it means. That was a full stretch, and to still have a powerful palm of your hand to pile it out for a corner. Brilliant.
Brilliant goalkeeping indeed. Lovely football from both ends of the field. South Africa will have the corner into the near post. So, Botswana having survived a real scale and at the second chance for the South Africans. One from a dead ball, the other on the counter attack. Where pace, the South African pace, and a bit of skill to it was what came to the fore.
I was talking about Reyners when he was still at Stellenbosch. That's before they got promoted. In fact, I think he was the top goal scorer that season. And that was exactly his type of runs. And resurrected his career when he went back, when he rejoined them in the middle of the season. And this is what they were hoping is the kind of form that he brings into this game.
Well, once he does get going and puts it onto the right foot at pace is a problem. Difficult to deal with. You may know what's coming, but stopping it is another issue.
And the difference also, he doesn't hug the line. That's the touch line. He drops, he plays a little bit narrow because he knows that Lakay is available to make good progress on the right side. which is added advantage for Bafana Bafana because it means then you have got more attacking players in the central part of the field.
Well, they lose the chair in the middle of the park to Bafana Bafana, and it's Botswana to look to capitalize off of that right side. It's there amongst those with the nice touches. Good movement in and around the ball for the men in sky blue here as they just stitch it together. Top of the shoulder didn't work in. It's out for the throw it. The K with the throw. It's all red. Times I'm impressed with both these sides technically and their ability to play the tight spaces under pressure. So they just need the one pass to keep it moving, one touch to buy a little bit of space to afford another pass to just keep it moving. All happening in a flash, so you have to think fast as well. Well, and as far as the fans that have turned out here today, I do believe we've got the best numbers so far since the start of this tournament on Wednesday. When you look at up top, we know what's happening down below our commentary area, including the left side, the side being defended by South Africa, and a few now fans on the right side, that's the side being defended by Botswana. It's a stunning turnout here at the Kings Wellington Stadium. Over the years, in the best of matches and the most interesting of days, we will also have some fans that do climb trees to get a view into the stadium. It's not quite happening today. But,
Listen, it's free. Why would it be that the case? Because nobody needs to pay any money, which I thought was brilliant from the COSAFA organizing committee, and just to encourage people to come. And the players need that form of encouragement, you know. And it's very vibrant, it's very noisy, and that plays a very big part in motivating the players, improving the look of the game.
Last year in the Women's Championships out in Gqeberha, in Swiftly as well, we had a very lovely response to the COSAFA there as well. And the numbers came out at the under-17 COSAFAs out there in Eswatini. It was pretty much the same, lovely support, and nice to see the community in Southern Africa playing its part, even in allowing for the schools championships towards the end of last year. It was a nice turnout. Now, ball will roll for Botswana out on the far side. The shots lack power. So comfortable was a save for Barden, but well, a bit of a positive for Botswana here. Find space to turn here. I'm very impressed with Mtetra here this afternoon, by the way. He's in the middle of the park, he's kept it moving. In the clue that's kept it together in the way of possession. Here he is on the ball once again, taking matches left to right or straight down the middle.
I feel we're missing that long diagonal ball. Lakay has been opening up over a number of times, but the ball is not coming. And Mohaila on this right hand side as well is just as open, but the delivery hasn't quite been available.
At times, you're also beginning to feel a bit of frustration coming from the stands at the lack of progress or forward movements. Where the passes along the halfway line draw a bit of frustration from those out in the stands.
The thing is, being in the stands, you also happen to have that aerial view,
Yes.
and you see the openings. Unlike the players in the field, it's not as clear as it looks to us here.
Again, in playing it out here. Just to listen to get over that halfway line, and there's some real problems here for the South Africans. The answer is no for the time being. very involved. Is Mtatwa. As he moves it down the line here on this near side. It's Kakane. Set for the throw in here on this near side with the South Africans cleaning up defensively for Botswana. On that occasion was the Kopelo. Just about every South African player inside the opposition half of the field as they push forward and now begin to pin Botswana back. Work out on the far side, just lacking in the quality with the final ball in. That's Botswana being pulled further and further back here and dropping further and further back. Looking like difficult for them once they do get the ball to find the outlet to play out.
Something else for you to chew on, yes, is it? It's good movement when Bafana passes the ball around, the recycling from one channel to the other, keeping it at the back. But if you look, hoping to open a real scoring chance opportunity, it's got to be a little bit faster. And so lucky, he carried the ball, but took forever to look up at the opportunities that were there for him. Now let's see what he can do. Much, but that's what I'm talking about.
Early with the ball in, there could be a chance here for the South Africans still. A little touch to keep it moving, keep it away from that defense. There's the men in gold and green pro getting to the byline, the cutback. Numbers back defensively coming to Botswana's aid then. Oh, looked like a challenge initially. Once the whistle went, there was frustration from those out in the stands. Slowly one gets the feeling, especially from the atmosphere out in the stands, that all it'll take is one good pass and one great final pass from the South Africans to get that breakthrough. Now, was there much wrong with this challenge? It looked shoulder to shoulder coming together by the time the whistle went.
Mangolo, I think, kept that leg a little bit rigid as he rolled over, which is what eventually got Mohaile down.
Plays for Australian Galaxy. Zamangolo played 90 minutes in the opening match. Has played every minute of this tournament thus far. Yeah, when the whistle initially went, just before that moment you speak of, then as they continued and they're coming together, it turned into a bit of a problem for Mohaile in the end.
Men giving instructions in Daga, formerly with Marumo Gallants. He's still with Marumo Gallants, who obviously got relegated end of the season. And he'll be looking to make his way back there. They're still debating whether to find a new coach, whether to let Daga or Masala stay on at the coaching position.
It is what's part and parcel of what's being relegated these days, even with promotion at times. When the sides moved up, there's that decision: do we keep the coaching staff, do we let them go when they move down? It's part and parcel. Many, of course, down in Cape Town would have been happy to hear that John Bartlett would have been staying on with his technical team. Now, no way through for Botswana just yet. Of course, the last time these two nations played against each other was right here in Durban a year ago in the plate final, where South Africa walked away 2-1 winners. Goal scorer was giveaway for the Botswana side. Just looking at past names that are past greats for Botswana in this tournament. We'll touch on that in a moment as the ball is played on, or played in. South Africa with 78% of the ball over the last 5 minutes, just to show how much they've enjoyed the ball here. And the point I was making a little bit earlier, that it seems they are pushing the Botswana defensive team further and further back, holding on to it and enjoying much more of the ball. The only issue though is only one shot on target apiece as we are going to the last 10 minutes of this first half.
the intensity at which South Africa is playing is the problem I pointed. It's not quick enough to create the right amount of pressure for Botswana. Botswana are dealing with the situations very comfortably. They can adjust their position defensively from one channel to the other because it's not quick.
That's 5 minutes.
Indians got right names such as Hamatakwane. If I come good from a Botswana point of view, from a goal scoring point of view, I mean, we went on to score 4 goals for Botswana in the COSAFA Cup. Wet amongst those that have scored just single goals. Photos amongst those as well to have found the back of the net over the years for Botswana. Now, of course, one can't forget one that's one as well. Amongst the names that come from Botswana to really going to achieve quite a lot for Botswana. Speaking of that one, this morning I was coming out of the hotel and making my way down to the stadium. I went to William Shongwe, who stood with a particular look-alike from a South African point of view, Shongwe.
Yes. Obviously, Tautele, you know, he got man of the match, so I took a special attention to him. And when I met him that very night at the hotel, I was like, have you ever been told that you look like some player from Botswana who's a legend in that country? He says, Dipsy.
No.
I'm like, yes. So he has been told about it. And in fact, he said they used to call him Dipsy in his younger days, yes.
Okay. It was pretty much the same thing happened this morning. William Shongwe comes over with him and says to me, who does this look like? From Botswana. I said, Dipsy.
We'll get some time where we'll have our cameras focus on him, so that will make sense what we're talking about here.
Well, they've got the corner here, going into the last 5. The K taking it quickly. Come to nothing for the South Africans. The final ball is something that's been lacking. They just haven't been able to find the right movement and pass into unlock that Botswana defense. As you do say, up to this point, they've really done a good job of defending Malapela, who's had that one stunning save to make, by the way, in denying the best chance from South Africa, which came from Reynolds, if you are just joining us. Now, Botswana hoping to take the lead before the half-time break here. Not quite find the opening they're looking for. Early ball forward here with Reynolds giving chase, and he very nearly scores to Scotland. Yes, he has! He falls for South Africa, and somehow Mabasa can't keep it on target. All thanks to the closing down and pressure applied by Reynolds. It caused the confusion they were looking for, and they were praying that Mabasa would finish it off.
Agnamlomo. I mean, it's difficult to actually tell what would have gone wrong because he was clear on the side on his own. Maybe the ball was a little bit hard, but that means he had the time. But excellent work by Reynolds. One anticipated the defender might play it back to the goalkeeper. I mean, look at what he was, a gapping net from Mabasa. He just needed to be better with his footwork to balance himself and just roll that ball into the back of the net. Great chance. 2 great chances now have been created.
2.5, including the set piece.
Yes.
Yep. Reina involved with 2 of them. One where he was running with the ball at his feet, the other where he's out running in applying pressure. Cause confusion. There he is again, Reina. And he's running back for the South Africans here, forcing another error. Now looking to get the better of the keeper. It's something a little brilliant in the attempt Top-notch goalkeeping from Malapela. Keeps him winning the duels between the two now. That's very much alive and kicking.
I was already leaving to go to, but when I saw that save, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That's now is goalkeeping. The mistake that maybe was made by the goalkeeper yesterday, who couldn't hold, the Angolan goalkeeper who couldn't hold into the ball. He could have easily done this. Just tip the ball over, or reorganize from the set piece.
Another corner. Defended on that near post. That's nicely done in picking it up here and keeping the pressure on Botswana. The movement on the far side is good, but just straying offside then. Will be a frustrated Mawasa. His movement initially looks good then in curling the run. Just curled a little too tight. Just straight off. He appreciates the pass being made to him. He's been showing his gratitude towards that for on a couple of occasions now. It was a good pass, could be a good bit of vision. Now, Botswana looking for that strong ending to the half that might just see them take the lead into the break. Just still get that opening they're looking for. That's good work defensively. And the pass that's found the teammates. A little over eager to try and win it back then. Zamediwane plays his top football for PDF out in Botswana. Another who played a full 90 minutes in the opening match, the win over Eswatini. Now, something could be on here for the South Africans. Nice doing 1-2! Smashing effort goes over. Beautifully done between the two. Reina, a man who was looking for the volley to bury it into the top corner. Sees it just fly over. And yet another opportunity goes a begging for South Africa. Oh, they combined beautifully here to the two strikers, Reina as well as Mabasa. Just couldn't get over it to keep it low enough. But he's had a good half as Reina certainly has been outstanding in the attacking areas here, and has been the thorn on the side of Botswana inside the opening first 45. Ted. Mangolo is the man who's won the set piece. Benson Mangolo. That's nicely done. And winning it back in a very good area here for Botswana. Can they come up with something special at the end of the half here to not take the lead into the break against the run of play, it should be said. Done well again. And what with seconds remaining in the half will be the last to maybe go into the front foot here, Botswana. Instead, well, they don't get it forward quickly enough. So the first half will come to an end here. And well, it's been a thoroughly entertaining first 45 minutes here. The South African bench will go into the change room with the thought that maybe, just maybe, they should be in the lead by 1 or 2. Some of the best moments coming for Reina from a South African point of view, bringing the save out of Malapela and creating 1 or 2 moments that led to advantages for South Africa. Mabasa with another glorious opportunity missed by the South Africans, who've also been a bit of a threat with a dead ball in this first 45. Well, it started well for Botswana inside the opening 10-15 minutes, but as the half went, they dropped further and further back, and whilst they started to get desperate defensively, they created less and less in attacking moves that troubled the South African defense. So they've got work to work on with regards to getting forward, creating chances, while South Africa will like to bury the chances they get. At the end of the first half, it's, well, no goals here at the Kings Olympic Stadium. It's South Africa no, Botswana no. Well, the scoreline 0-0 here between South Africa and Botswana, and it's been a thoroughly entertaining first 45 minus the goals so far. Let's go back to that first half and look at some of the best moments. So, South Africa with a dead ball situation here. Into that far post, and well, there wasn't a bad chance. Mohammed, the Sundowns man, getting up well here, just couldn't steer it into the top corner. Venda maybe doing enough to put him off. Then comes this, run from Reynolds. He's at full tilt and comes onto the stronger right foot, and in the end he's got the goods of Marapela with the save of the match so far. Lovely football all round then, as the South Africans were beginning to look a real threat moving forward into the latter stages of that first half. And, well, again, a long ball forward. Reynolds gives chase here, does enough to cause problems. It falls for Mabasa. And he, along with quite a few out in the stands, would have been feeling it should have been 1-0 to South Africa then. Chasing a lost cause here. Reynolds creating all sorts of problems in that defense, and in the end, it's lucky for Botswana that they didn't concede. They one time the South Africans. This time it's Reynolds again, and a lovely little duel that's now developed between he and Manapila. Manapila coming out tops, but Reynolds certainly having a great first half and coming close on 2 occasions to finding the back of the net for the South Africans. Let's have a look at the numbers then. While South Africa have 2 on target, they have created many more moments then. On top of that, they have had the better of it in the way of ball possession. So, William Shongwe, as is the case, is down with another surprise interview for us at halftime.
Dr. Vusi Mazibuko, head of Stadia here in eThekwini Municipalities, is here joining us at the halftime break. And Mr. Mazibuko, tell me, Honorable, what is your role and involvement in the municipality of eThekwini?
As the municipality, we are responsible for ensuring that tournaments such as this one, which we are not hosting for the first time, the COSAFA men's tournament, are staged successfully. As a city, we are privileged to have facilities that are able to accommodate a tournament of this magnitude. As you are aware that all the Southern African countries are here, and therefore it puts a demand not only on playing venues, but also on training venues. So we pride ourselves for having been able to meet the needs of the countries that are playing here. As you are aware that we are in the football break. So during the football break, that's the time that we have to actually prepare our facilities for the new season. So with us hosting this 2 weeks long tournament, it then puts some pressure in that we need to do both. We need to make sure that we meet the needs of COSAFA, not only from a spectator's point of view, but also from a technical point of view, meaning that all facilities must meet the needs, be it that of PSL, be it that of FIFA, and that of COSAFA. Obviously, COSAFA are similar to CAF requirements.
Yeah, quickly, you're talking about these requirements. Can you maybe specify what are exactly some of these when you're hosting such kind of tournaments?
When you're hosting these tournaments, obviously, the first thing that you have to do is to make sure that the facilities are safe for communities, for spectators to come into. Because as you can see, in this game that we're watching now, the stadium is packed and people are excited. And therefore, the safety of the spectators, first and foremost, is key. And secondly, there are requirements that are technical, meaning that all the competition requirements, from the competition areas to your mix zone, to your pitch preparation, to ensuring that all the support systems that make football presentable, and also understanding that this is a product that is also shared not only by people that are here at the stadium, it's also shared by broadcasters to people outside of this city. And therefore, this destination is seen all over. Therefore, the facilities actually indicate the readiness of the city to host such events.
For me, the one that interests me the most, obviously, is the pitch preparation. And looking at how many games have already been played here, 7. This is the 7th one. And the field, the grass still looks very good. And what basically is it that you do to make sure that that as well is taken care of?
Knowing that we'll have this tournament, and remember we've just taken a break from PSL season, and this ground is a home ground of Richards Bay FC. And therefore, we had to make sure that we prepare it. As you are aware that other games will be played at Mosmabida and other games are going to be played at Magogo, with the intention to relieve this ground so that it takes a breather and will come back again for semi-finals and finals. So that is how we maintain them, so that we rotate. Also understanding that we are in a winter season, which is a very dominant season for grass to grow and so forth. So those are the measures that we take. But it's not only that, there's a lot of technical work that goes with staging such games. Most of these games are taking place in evenings, and therefore your floodlights need to work, the internet needs to work. So all those areas are key for delivering a successful tournament.
Honorable, thanks so much for breaking it down the way you've just done so, and we're looking forward to the success of the tournament going towards the end.
We are looking forward to it, and we wish all the teams the best, and particularly the home team with the home support that is here. We hope that they will not disappoint, but as a host, would want to wish every country that is here a beautiful stay, a safe stay in Durban, and they must enjoy being here, and we'll welcome them anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you to William Chonga for keeping the hits coming with those halftime interviews. We're back with the second half on the other side of this. Welcome back to the Kings Wellington Stadium here in Umlazi, where the scoreline is still 0-0 between South Africa and Botswana, as we now look forward to the second half. Moments away from the start of the second half we are, and what has been interesting thus far is the way they've gone about business, these two sides. For those just joining us, South Africa with the bulk of the chances, in fact forcing two great saves out of Lesenia Malapela, the goalkeeper for Botswana, and having maybe one or two other moments outside of that where they feel they should have scored. South Africa. Botswana, well, they started good in the opening 10-15, but as the game went, South Africa started to push them further and further back and started to really take dominance in the way of ball possession, including chances created. So they'll look to improve themselves here, especially on the front foot and holding on to the ball, and they're looking to create some chances of their own against Bar, who hasn't had too much to worry about and has been very well protected by the South African defense. Well, in midfield, they started off brightly with the likes of Titsele, but as one pointed out already, as the half went, they did see South Africa beginning to keep off the ball, and well, it is the South Africans that will get the second half underway and attack to the left of your picture, whilst Botswana will attack to the right of your picture. William Chong spoke of the need of those diagonal balls towards the end of that first half. There's one immediately starting off the second half from Mtetwa. The feeling from the legendary Chongwe. That it was all happening a little bit too slow from a South African point of view in the build-ups, including trying to find the likes of Lakay out right on the left as well as Mukhaila right on the right. Whereas one diagonal ball directly across would do the job and quickly looking to expose the Botswana defense. So it is Botswana now with the set piece. Found spin and blue, but they haven't been able to really make hay of the situation. Still have it on the front foot here. Shots eventually coming in, and the bounce making life difficult for Bar, who adjusted well.
You don't understand, Pena, how difficult to deal with a bouncing ball that does it just in front of you. You don't know just how high it's going to go once it bounces off the ground. So you just have to hope for the best, and they did very well here. And not back into the field, but to the side as well, even better.
A positive for Botswana and starts in the second half then. They'll have a corner, stay on the front foot, big men push forward towards the far post, in towards the near. Itsele. So, big plus for Botswana in the way of a confidence booster. The start of the second half is their best chance of the game created so far. Well, with an outstanding save then, and having to adjust to the bounce.
And take into account that it's not like he had that much work in that first half, and to be demanded to come in that fashion, that takes a goalkeeper that has stayed with the game, with his focus.
Now, Botswana, again, will look to push on here. See if they can create better chances going forward. Yeah, they have won the set piece for the challenge, time challenge. On square here. Now, supposed to hold on to that right foot where, of course, the shot would always be on. Having moments here early on now, Botswana.
And we're talking about Square. He's actually right-footed, and yet he operates down the left-hand side, which gives him the ability to cut into the side. As we look into that ball, that Bar deals with very difficultly.
Sits in the box here. As the South Africans again deal with the danger and look to push on. Nothing wrong with the challenge. So pressure stays on the South Africans here. It's a good spell this for Botswana in the opening exchanges. Still we have a man down to South Africa. Botswana carrying on with business.
Yes, guys.
Numbers in the box. Good work defensively here. Stunning work defensively. They appreciated that out of the stands. So it does go up for the throw in here nearby.
Chawa is the
final third.
Sorry, Chawa is the player down. That's the Tipsy Silone lookalike. Actually makes me wonder, because I don't think the defender got to the ball. He might have got into the ball after he had taken him down. And I think that the ref saw it and yet preferred to let the game continue. That will be a little bit of a concern, but I trust that Felix, the referee instructor of CUP, or should I say of Africa as a whole.
Yep.
He's watching. Big day tomorrow, obviously. I'll be viewing some of these shots, and what they're asking for is a whole lot more slow-mos so that they can be able to deal with some of the angles more differently. And so when they make decisions as well, they'll be fully informed.
Also, with that decision on the near side, the near side official wasn't too far away from the action as well. So both he and the referee agreed that nothing was wrong with that challenge. As Bob picks up. interesting when you look at Botswana's heaviest defeats in the history of this COSAFA Cup away from home, a 3-0 at the hands of South Africa. Other nations have taken heavy defeats, however.
Listen, what Mr. Mfoti, the coach of the Zebra, said, Botswana football has improved.
Yes.
If you aren't too sure, and you're watching this game, I'm sure you're convinced of that statement. They're not a walkover anymore.
It's been a long time since I think we could call Botswana football a walkover, William Chonga. Extremely long time. Touched on this in the last game when they were amongst the first to qualify of all African nations for an AFCON. They pretty much made it clear that they had reached a new standard by then.
The thing, when I came into the commentary pit, we were talking about the diagonal balls of Bafana. And if you're playing against a team that sits, that holds, that is as disciplined as the Zebras, speed is a big factor to your favor. Width is another. Yes, Bafana creating the width, but the speed is lacking. The speed of the ball, the speed of the pass, of the diagonal ball. Like I said in the first half, it's easy for Botswana to adjust from one channel to the other, to do the shifting without being caught.
So it's all about causing a bit of discomfort to them as they look to shift from one side to the other defensively.
Speed
Here they
does
are,
the trick.
looking to cause some discomfort for the South Africans now. They've all got a little bit narrow as well for Botswana with that particular attack. Chance now to play it out here with the attacker for South Africa. Support. And it's a disappointing ball to follow that up. Oh, what? He's become a nice outlet onto the far side for Botswana. He's been fouled once again. There's Square here, but he's had a very good start to this second half, and he's played 54 minutes of the opening encounter before he was substituted. Another who's unattached to a club at the moment will be looking to sell himself during this COSAFA Cup. There are a few players out there that are unattached. So, just before the 1 hour mark, still no goals here between South Africa and Botswana. Now, chance for Botswana here. Got some good numbers over the halfway line if they can hold on to the ball. Try and make something of the attack, but they've committed the foul. Now, good hard running from Mahaila. Options on the near side with the K, opening things up for the South Africans. Numbers now getting in the box. Outside of the foot was that far post. Good work defensively here from Botswana. Now, can they turn defense into attack quickly? Way too much, showed way too much of the ball then. And a long way out of position as well. Yep, look, they challenge. Well, the match referee here is Patrice Milizar from Mauritius. That looks was this near side where Botswana will now look to make a few changes. Sikwai will come in here for Square. And Ramonte will replace Mabaya. Doesn't look as though they're quite done here. Botswana, yep. Inosa will also come in for Talifang, so 3 changes being made then. It's a piece. Just wide of goal then. The keeper did have it covered. Confidently across his goal then.
Would you agree with me, Sisu? If I say South Africa has been knocking on the door, and there's normally the eventuality of this kind of knocks. You try and try and try, and eventually.
Well, there's a chance for Botswana! They go one up! While South Africa were doing the knocking, it's Botswana that kicked the door down. Long ball forward, root one stuff, and very much against the run of play. Botswana grabbed the lead.
This, of course, is one of the results when you are on the front foot for a long time. You start dropping your guards because there hasn't been any threat. And then suddenly that long ball, which caught them very, very hard. And it opened it up for Hamanyane, was it?
Yep.
Yes. He's scoring his 2nd goal. You were saying earlier on, we haven't had any player scoring 2. There he is.
No. He placed it beyond bar quite beautifully. Root one stuff here. Lovely ball to match the run. He's got time and he's got the true connection. It's not about the power, it's about the placement away from bar then. And the quality of the ball that came in to set him free.
First, for me, what is important is a long pass, which every now and then I talk about this long pass, that if the defenders don't really well by being on the back foot when it's being played, they don't have a chance of catching up. Remember, they're facing the ball and the striker is facing the opposition's goal. So it's easy for him to run forward and use his speed to perfection.
Now, problems here, serious problems. That gives a penalty and is a penalty. You talk about an immediate response. South Africa with their ball forward and Botswana crumbled defensively.
Lakay is appealing. He must have seen something. There's a possible red there.
Yep, red card. They crumbled defensively. In the end, Kopelang had to commit the foul. That means he takes an early shower. South Africa with an immediate chance here to
He's human. It's human with the setup, who lobs it over the defender, and it's like a 50-50. Goalkeeper comes and puts off Kopelang. Maybe that's where it all went wrong, which gave Letwalo the opportunity to sprint forward. And all he had to do was roar it past. Now, the question is for Kopelang. Should he have let him go and preferred to stay in the field of play? Because he knew exactly he was already on the yellow. Another foul of that nature means he gets a second. I mean, this one didn't even need a second yellow. It was a straight red.
Yep. Well, Malapela was such a great game up to this point with the saves he's made. Played his part in the breakdown defensively, then maybe his decision-making as a goalkeeper wasn't the very best. He can still rescue the situation if he can come up with a save. South Africa looking to quickly find an equalizer and push on, looking to ride the waves that could see them take the lead for the first time in this match. Reyners, there's the man that will step forward! Sends the keeper the wrong way. Just the response that Africa would have wanted it, just the time they wanted it. Question now, can they ride the wave having the extra man to go and pick up the 3 points?
Big points. But as we have seen in the past, some teams struggle even playing with that additional man. And that will be a challenge now to Ramaribudi. How does he structure? Does he remove one defender to push one, or even remove a defender completely and add a midfielder so that there's more domination in that middle to create the more open chances? It's well taken. I can't help but think about a penalty that he missed for Stellenbosch, I think in a cup game, that sent them out of the Nedbank Cup. And there he came looking, I was worried about that, whether they still have that nightmare in his mind.
So, you remember the opening game for South Africa, William Chonga, against the Namibians. For those that didn't watch it, South Africa with most of the play, looking good, looking most likely to score late in the first half. One play from Namibia that's very direct, and so Namibia leads. South Africa now pushing forward again and may have a shot. Yeah! 2-0! A couple of goals in a couple of minutes. It's Mihaila. Let's see South Africa right that way and push on and grab the lead for the first time in this year's COSAFA Cup in any match.
Momentum on the up. Just before Botswana scored the goal, I was talking about the knocks that South Africa were making, and it was a complete shock for me to say I'm talking about the positivity of Bafana Bafana knocking. If you keep knocking long enough, that door will open up. But Botswana came, of course, and kicked the door with just one kick. And this, for me, is what I picked up, was the momentum of Bafana Bafana. It looked very positive. It looked like it was happening. It's a great pass, but intercepted. But the follow-up from Mohaile, who had presence of mind to be in that area, roll it past the goal line.
It means a lot. It means the world.
It's all coming together, which, of course, is the unpredictable start of a competition. But as the competition progresses, it gets better and better. The competition starts to come through. You can start to see as a coach that, okay, this is working, this seems to be working.
And it was working. South Africa on the front foot. Pace on the far side. Mihaila with options.
Rush of blood. He can't tell you what he was doing. There was a shooting, or he just hammered it across. I mean, from that type of angle, you want to just lift the ball to a more central part of the box. With all the other players coming, it means there's a chance. There he wanted to hit it, but high, and then it would have meant that even the players that were coming in weren't going to get to the ball because it was too high.
So, against Namibia, they were able to find the equalizer after having conceded against the run of play South Africa, but weren't able to push on and find the leading goal. They've done so here in absolutely no time, meaning there's still, a good 21 minutes to go in this match. South Africa leading by one, have the extra man on the field. Question now is we have to look at the other side of the fence. Botswana, what do? They're going to make a change to start things off here, but having won the opening match, they'll know even a loss here doesn't necessarily rule them out, but they'll want to put up a fight and see if they can maximize the situation and maybe get a draw out of it, if not go on for a win. What's interesting is the change being made, William Chonga. Titsele is the man making way. Your thoughts on this change?
If it's what I've seen of Titsele, he was like the engine room in that middle of the park for me. He can provide security when the team is defending from high balls in set pieces situation, but also when the team is offensive, he also adds a lot of value because of his height. And this time, though, he's not as mobile, though, and which is what they need right now. More legs that can actually cover more areas with the men down. And
also a defender. Having lost the defender, the man that's come on is Nico Babuzi, a defender with township rollers, man who enjoyed only who hasn't had a touch of the ball as yet in this year's tournament. He'll get his first few touches in the next few moments, but they're showing up defensively first.
Because with the men down, it can get worse.
Yeah.
So just trying to slow it down. You might just open it up a little bit later, but right for now, you just want to see how much can you hold of the opposition's ability to try and cut you up.
I'll tell you what, it will be a great crowd that's been warmed up quite beautifully for the match that will kick off at 6 o'clock this evening between Eswatini and Namibia. Namibia on the up and up, of course. Over the last 10 years they've done great work in the way of the international football. They're back on the scene in having their local game up and running once again, and we're all feeling the effects of it on the continent. But with the stunning work they've done so far in their qualifying campaign for the next AFCON, they had a good game against the South Africans earlier on in the week. We'd like to build on that with a good showing against Eswatini later on today.
For sure, to me and you working together, we have had some agreements here. We don't quite see it the same way when we talk about the permutations.
No. Well, some may see Eswatini coming up with what could be an upset. There'll be those that believe, it's Namibia that walks into that match as their favourites. But it'll be so crucial, depending on how things work out here, that encounter, in fact, doesn't matter how things work out here. It's still crucial in the overall picture for all sides concerned. Ten shots at goal for South Africa, 7 for Botswana. The 10 men of Botswana, if you are just joining us. They went one up. Minutes later, gave away a penalty, losing a man, conceded that penalty, and then a couple of minutes later, conceded the second goal. And within 5 minutes, it all fell apart for Botswana.
Let's put it that way. Kopilanga's red card. It's based on the fact, according to the rules, denying an obvious goal-scoring chance.
It's a nicely attacked, that cross.
And the difference between that, because other people say you can't punish the player twice, there's just that little difference into the rule. But if it's a clear obstruction, it's not like a tackle that could have or could not have been, something like that. But if it's as clear as that, then there's no excuse. It's a straight red. So that's the difference. Others, you just give the penalty and excuse or give a yellow instead.
When we started to get used to the term some years ago of a professional foul.
Yeah. But now it's defined more clearly.
Yeah.
Doxo.
Now, ball in. What's evident in Botswana since the changes here to their personnel, William Shaw, something to touch on. But on this near side and on the far now, being happy to send men into the box and go in for the early crosses. Now, that's a lovely ball. Chance coming up here for South Africa. Looking for number 3. Denied beautifully by Malapela. He has been outstanding here for Botswana, even with his contribution in the mistake that led to the penalty and sending off. He has otherwise had a pretty good afternoon.
I was talking about Letsoalo being able, because he's very mobile, sometimes he'll take defenders elsewhere, but if you have attacking players like Kapinga, who just made his way in, that was one opportunity, that was one such opportunity in the way that he found himself with a throughput, because he took the opportunity where Letsoalo should have been.
Something's only in Mzansi.
But I didn't expect that from Chetron.
That's a lovely pass. Now, option in field here. That's lovely decision making. Great defending as well. Braille. That's well read defensively. Good game of football this is. Great crowd. Great
Indeed.
crowd, by the way.
Responding so well, obviously in favor of the home side. A slight concern that I had with this last ball going forward for Bafana Bafana is the attacking players. When you look at the gap in between the midfielder and the defender, so far behind. And when Botswana picked it up, there was nobody to try and press them high or even threaten for that matter. So meaning the defensive line has got to learn to push up as quick as they can to close the playing space in the middle. In that particular instance, it wasn't the case.
So, there's that lovely pass, great movement back up being and superb goalkeeping. Yeah? Tried to slide it in under it.
But he rushed it. I thought he was ahead. The defender could only take him down.
Living dangerously.
Oh, very dangerously.
Living dangerously, so lucky. They did the right thing. Did the likes of Human and just applying the pressure and called for the mistake in the end or for the foul, but when Botswana chooses to do that dangerously, why not apply that pressure? Now this is what Botswana will be looking for. The little set pieces inside the opposition off of the field. 10 men keep in mind for Botswana out of the field. So this will aid their cause where they'll look for those crosses into the box. They've already thrown a few into the box since the sending off. And it seems to be a way forward for them. So why not try it? Very interesting to see where the line is being held here defensively by South Africa. There's a chance! That's a great chance for Botswana. But was perfect with his positioning, but the threat's very much alive for Botswana in the air.
And initially I looked at Bar, the goalkeeper, who was on the front foot.
That's a good ball. Flags up, however. You were saying, Shoma?
Yeah, he was on the front foot, looking to see how high the ball will drop into his area to give him a chance to come in, but it was dropping low, which would have been very risky for him to come out. He preferred to stay, dangerously so, but it just so happened that he was positioned correctly.
Well, some encouragement for Botswana. Again, looking for that early ball into the box. They do have one in there. And they are trying to look to the top of the area now. Always have to be wary of the counter-attack from South Africa. 2 on 2, a third arriving on the scene. Nice little back heel set up for. Well, a shot that came as a rush of black to the head. Could have still played one more pass. I do suspect them, Mukhaila. Took a defensive touch out for the corner.
Which could be the saving grace to him not being able to make the right decision.
Yeah.
Maybe it was on target. But yes, there was an option there. He could have had the second touch and placed it beautifully to Letsoalo, who was open on the left-hand side.
Only 3 in the box. A fourth looking just outside of it. Maybe telling of the times, yeah? Nicely done on the far side. And finding the teammate. Now, can they find the yard for the shots? Good skill. Still going! Oh! Just over! Oh, that would have been a brilliant effort. Letsoalo. Just kept going and going. Jiggling this way and that.
He had everybody in the stand waiting for the celebration. Very patient. Kapinga knits his way here beautifully. Actually, it's Kapinga. I was thinking of himself. So this is the Kapinga I know. He can weave his way in those tight spots. And obviously here, maybe a rush of blood, but still, you can't blame him. He just needed to maybe find the target.
Wow, that would have been something special from Kapinga. Truly special. Still, South Africa looking for their third. They're looking to put this to bed. Good hard running, both defensively and offensively, and it's the men in blue that come out tops. Well, last night we were treated to a game where we felt the quality was such that we all enjoyed it. Here's another game that's just lifted the standards another notch here in this game between South Africa and Botswana. Botswana, even with 10 men, putting up a good fight, making for an interesting closing to this match. Called in. Well, they aren't able to get over it then with the header for Hamanyani. And who scored the opener for Botswana here today. But it's encouraging the fact that another one of those balls in there had 3 in the box and it came off of Botswana head. It's encouraging for them. Keep pinging in those early balls. Ted. Nothing wrong, says the referee.
Very gutsy from Botswana. They're reminded that they remain down, and yet they seem to be matching Bafana in every sense still.
Get the precision to Botswana. The positivity is being rewarded here. South Africa will be making another sub in the very near future. Human will be making way. Coming on in his place. Seletela. From Skupina United. It will be his first involvement in this year's COSAFA Cup. Seletela. Even, of course, the man who scored the equalizer, having come in off the bench in the opening game for the South Africans. Space on the far side, runners off the ball here, positive for South Africa in these initial stages of this play. So not able to get enough numbers back to slow them down, however. Mohammed with the ball over to the near side with Lekay. Plenty of space to turn into here. And advance onto. Man, just on committing the foul then with his first involvement in the game.
Yeah, a little bit of hesitation within the defender goalkeeper. Skakanira is. The thing is, if the goalkeeper doesn't make a call, and then you have no right as a defender to assume that he's coming.
Now, Haida. Oh, that's a lovely pass. Measured pass that was. Found the teammates. Shots! Finds. Well, Balapela is still very much at the top of his form. Again, his positional play has been top-notch for the most part in this match. The man between the six for Botswana.
He's a quality keeper.
He really is. Yellow card here from Teto.
Yeah. Courtship. Romarebo, he might have to make a decision.
Unlucky.
Very unlucky. He was just blocking the part, but the knees collided.
Looked as though what actually caused the action where Kamanyani was going down was that he actually stood on the ball. And that's what caused the action for him to go down and for the knees to come together. They're standing on the ball.
They understand this game. I mean, you could see the reaction when that incident took place. They could see that, no, surely.
Yeah.
You know.
Also, you can always feel the tension in the game through the atmosphere at the stadium. Tell you why. Because South Africa leading by just the one. Since they've gone into the lead, Botswana has had moments where they've caused scares for those just joining us, and they've had moments to possibly find an equalizer. So, while South Africa are leading by one and have the extra man out in the field, they know out in the stands that Botswana has been a threat, and you can feel how tense it is here in these dying moments. So, Botswana pushing on here, hoping to create one more chance and score, at the very least, just one more goal here that will see them share the spoils. Solid challenge, that is. They appreciated that out in the stands. Chance at the counter. They need him to have his head up. He's passed up on a few opportunities to release early. Kapinga. Oh, good movement off the ball here. Narrow angle, but the chance is still there. Somehow, it's gone right on the mark, and the flag has stayed down. Amongst those involved, he had the difficult angle to deal with. Looked as though there was a touch as well on the far post that went right on the mark. Could have put it to bed there, South Africa. Should have put it to bed there, South Africa. Tell you what, should Botswana go on to find an equalizer here, South Africa will be kicking themselves for chances missed after having gone 2-1 up in the efforts to put this game to bed. Thought they come once again. Good understanding between keeper and defender. Nicely done by Botswana, finding width out on the far side. Slowly making their way into the final third here. They've already got a few in the box, encouraging the early ball. Far there to snatch it up. There will be 3 minutes added on to the 90 minutes. At 3, the magical number for the time being. 3 goals scored here for the 3 points that will be earned. Keeping in mind the team or the game that had the highest goals so far. So a 3-0 scoreline for Comoros earlier on in the week against Seychelles. So in number of goals in the match, this will match that 3. This along with that will be the highest scoring matches in the tournament thus far. So, change being made here. There's Arrhenius who's had a very good game here. Makes way, and Mohammed May is the man that will come on in his place. Now, Mahaila didn't have the strength to get the better of the defender. Well, Good movement down the line here for Botswana. They could have one final say in how things turn out here. The shot coming in. Denied by Bar. Went for the near post, then Bar had it covered. Little card shown outside of your picture for protest for what the South Africans fouled should have been a foul. In fact, the shot went and found the side netting. Bar didn't have to get involved. Goal kick it is. So confirmation in the South African that got the yellow card is Makume for his protest for what he felt should have been a foul earlier on in the play. Well, under 13 seconds now remaining in this match. South Africa have the dead ball. There won't be no rush to get it going once again. Things will continue to be interesting in as far as the group, because now South Africa will move on to 4 points as things stand and will jump one spot ahead of Botswana, who have 3 points and started the day on top of the group. We still have to wait and see what happens between Namibia and Eswatini in a game that kicks off at 6 o'clock this evening. There you have it. Game done here. And they had to come from behind to do it. Must have been a thoroughly entertaining game here. Botswana, the first to open the scoring against the runner play in the second half through Kamanyani. And then came in a defensive error that led to a sending off and a penalty. Raiders stepping up to find the back of the net. And then Muhaila there to, a minute later, score what was going to be a winner for the South Africans. They had a few opportunities to put it to bed to the South Africans, whilst Botswana had 1 or 2 of their own to try and tie the scoreline, even with 10 on the field. But in the end, a good